Ivan time. All right, here we go. Let's flip back and see. We're on page 172 today. So that's where we're going to start. So I'm going to flip back, like always, setting our bookmark here in our brain so we know where we left off. And already, the first page I flip back on 170 is one of the most, like, vivid or tragic or kind of bone chilling or kind of just surreal page when he says what they did. Right? They were clinging. We were clinging to our mother, my sister and I. And then you can read the rest of what it says there. But it's pretty brutal. Ivan finally started remembering now, which is totally different than what he said this whole time in the book. But for Ruby now, he's starting to remember. Right, and the page before that says remembering, and he says, "I remember it all." So it all starts coming back to him. Um, he also got some paint in this chapter, or in this section. Julia gave him some paint. He tasted it first, but then he started to get some handprints with it, and he was back to his art, right? Back into the field like Cool Mud. Remember, that's his name, right? Mud. So he was very happy about getting the paint. Um, but yeah, but Ivan's starting to remember. And the other huge thing on page 165, he changed the name of his domain, right? Ruby, will I die in this domain? This is my domain. I protect my domain. Or I have a swing in my domain. But what does he switch it to? Who remembers? A cage. You're right. He calls it a cage now. How's that difference, right? Domain and cage. I need to write that down because I'm going to ask you guys that question. What's the difference between a domain and a cage? I know I kind of asked you that yesterday, but all right. I'm going to start reading. Here we go. Another Ivan. When morning comes, another Ivan. Wonder if that means. Wonder what that means. That title. When morning comes and the parking lot glimmers with dew, I see the billboard on the highway. There I am, the one and only Ivan, bathed in the pink light of dawn. I look so angry, with my furrowed brow and clenched fists. I look the way my father did, the day the men came. I am, I suppose, a peaceful sort. Mostly I watch the world go by and think about naps and bananas and yogurt raisins. But inside me hidden is another Ivan. He could tear a grown man's limbs off his body. In the flicker of the time it takes a snake's tongue to taste the air, he could taste revenge. He is the Ivan on the billboard. I stare at the one and only Ivan, at the faded picture of Stella, and I remember George and Mac on their ladders, adding the picture of Ruby to bring new visitors to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. I remember the story Ruby told, the one where the villagers came to rescue her. I hear Stella's kind, wise voice. Humans can surprise you sometimes. I look at my fingers, coated in red paint, the color of blood. And I know how to keep my promise. There's another Ivan right inside of him. He's been a sweet, caring, nice, gentle. Now, something's stirring in him, right? Something's changing with him. Days. During the days I wait. During the nights I paint. I worry when Mac takes Ruby into the ring. He carries the claw stick with him at all times now. He doesn't use it. He doesn't have to. Ruby isn't fighting back anymore. She does whatever Mac asks. That's sad. He doesn't even need to use it anymore. She's just doing it now. Who does that remind you of? Nights. And remember, don't forget the promise, right? What's the promise? Who did Ivan promise? And what did he promise? Sorry, I'm giving you wait time like we're sitting in class right now. He promised Stella he was going to save Ruby. Right. Okay, here we go. Nights. I close my eyes. I dip my fingers into the paint. When I'm done with one piece of paper, I set it aside to dry. It is so small, just one sheet, and I'm going to need so many. I move on to the next, and the next, and the next. It's a giant puzzle, and I'm making the pieces one by one. By morning, my floor is covered with paintings. I hide the paintings under my pool of dirty water before Matt can see them. I don't want them to end up in the gift store, selling for $20 a piece. 25 with a frame. These paintings are for Ruby. Every one of them. Who's painting Ruby something? Project. Ivan? Ruby asked one morning when I'm trying to nap. Why are you always so sleepy during the day? I've been working on a project at night, I tell her. What's a project? It's a thing. A painting. It's a painting for you, actually, I answer. Ruby looks pleased. Can I see it? Not yet. Ruby pokes with annoyance at her roped foot. She takes a breath. Ivan, do I have to do the show with Mac today? I'm afraid so. I'm sorry, Ruby. Ruby dips her trunk in the water bucket. That's okay, she says. I already knew the answer. She doesn't sound very happy or excited about going into the show today. Not right. It's night again, and everyone's asleep. I look at the picture I've just made, one of dozens. It's smudged and torn, a muddy blur. I place it beside the others lining my floor. The colors are wrong. The shapes are off. It looks like nothing. It's not what I'm trying to create. It's not what it's meant to be. It's not right, and I don't know why. Across the parking lot, the billboard beckons, as it always does. Come to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan, mighty Silverback. If I could use human words to say what I needed to say, this would all be so easy. Instead, I have pots of paint and ragged pages. I sigh. My fingertips glow like jungle flowers. I try again. Going nowhere. I watch Ruby plod around the ring in endless circles. Going nowhere. More visitors have been coming, but not many. Max says Ruby's not picking up the slack after all. He says he's cutting back on our food. He says he's turning off the heat at night to save money. Ruby looks thinner to me, more wrinkled than Stella ever was. Do you think Ruby is eating enough? I asked Bob. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, though. You're sure as heck painting enough. Bob wrinkles his nose. The stench is unbelievable, and I found yellow paint in my tail this morning. Bob isn't happy about my night painting. He says it's unnatural. Now, while I work at my art, Bob sleeps on Not Tag. He claims he prefers her because she doesn't snore. He says her belly doesn't rise and fall and make him seasick. What's this plan of yours anyway? Bob asks. If you explain it to me, I can help out. He gnaws at his tail. Maybe I could come up with something that doesn't involve, paint. I can't explain it, I tell him. It's an idea in my head, but I can't get it right. And anyway, I'm almost out of supplies. I should have known I wouldn't have enough. I kick my tire swing. It spatters blue drops of paint. It's a stupid idea. I doubt that, Bob says. Smelly, yes. Stupid, never. Bad guys. Most of the day I doze. Late in the afternoon, Mac approaches. Bob slips under Not Tag. He prefers to keep a low profile around Mac. You guys remember Not Tag is the stuffed animal, right? If you look at the front of the book and our little words we have in the front, Not Tag is that little stuffed animal, right? Tag was his sister. Not Tag is the stuffed little gorilla he has. Mac's gaze falls on my pool. A corner of one of my paintings is visible. What's that, big guy? He asked. I calmly eat an orange, ignoring him, but my heart is racing. Mac kicks at my plastic pool. Underneath it are all the paintings. Mac yanks on a piece of paper. It slips out easily, and he doesn't seem to notice the other paintings. The page is striped with green, which it happens when blue paint and yellow paint get together. It's supposed to be a patch of grass. Not bad. Where'd you get the paint anyway? George's kid? He considers. I bet I can get 30 for this picture, maybe even 40. Mac turns on the TV. It's a Western. There's a human with a big hat and a small gun. He has a shiny star pinned to his chest. That means he's the sheriff, and he will be getting rid of the bad guys. If this sells quick, I'm getting you some more of that paint, buddy, Mac says. He walks away with my painting, Ruby's painting. For a moment, I imagine what I would feel like to be a sheriff. Ad. Good news, huh? Bob says when Mac's out of earshot. Looks like you might be getting some more supplies. I don't want to paint for Mac, I say. I'm painting for Ruby. You can do both, Bob says. You're an artist after all. While I watch the movie, I try to come up with a new hiding place for my paintings. Maybe, I think, I could fold them once they're dry and stuff them into knot tag. It's a long movie. At the end, the sheriff marries a woman who owns the saloon, which is the watering hole for humans, but not horses. It's been a long time since I've seen a Western that was also a romance. I like that movie, I say to Bob. Too many horses, not enough dogs, he comments. An ad comes on. It's an ad. Yeah, a commercial, right? I don't understand ads. They're not like Westerns, where you know there's a bad guy who is supposed to be. And they're hardly ever romantic, unless the man and the woman are brushing teeth before they face lick. Toothpaste ad, right? I watch an ad for an underarm deodorant. How do you know who's who if you don't smell? I ask Bob. Humans reek, Bob replies. I just didn't notice because they have incompetent noses. Hey, Bob says we stink, right? Whatever. Another ad comes on. I see children and their parents buying tickets, just like the tickets Max sells. They laugh, enjoying their ice cream cones as they walk down the path. They pause to watch two sleepy-eyed cats, huge and striped, dozing in long grass. Tigers! I know, because I saw them on the nature show once. Words flash on the screen, accompanied by a drawing of a red giraffe. The giraffe vanishes, and I see a human family staring at another kind of family. Elephants, old and young. They're surrounded by rocks and trees and grass and room to wander. It's a wild cage. A zoo. I see where it begins and where it ends. The wall that says you are this and we are that, and that is how it will always be. It's not a perfect place. Even in just a few fleeting seconds on my TV screen, I can see that. A perfect place would need no walls. But it's the place I need. I gaze at the elephants, and then I look over to Ruby, small and alone. Before the ad ends, I try to remember every last detail. Rocks, trees, tails, trunks. It's the picture I need to paint. So, we're going to stop there. That was pretty good. I hope you enjoyed it. So, Ivan's painting, right? Painting during the night. Now he's painting during the day for Mac, too. But he says he's painting for Ruby, right? So he catches a little glimpse there of a commercial, and he realizes, I know what I need to paint now. So, we make a prediction on that one, all right? Think about that. What do you think he's going to paint? All right, check for activities, and I will see you next time.